Hello everyone, I'm Matt,
I'm Chris.
and we are the NOLAnerds, here to bring you a movie review while wearing the latest fashion, known as white t-shirts.
Straight from Paris.
The difference is, I just got home from work and took my work clothes off. This is just what Chris thinks is a good going out look.
I'm just coming here.
Come on, Chris. You're not dressing up for me. You're dressing up for them.
I'm dressed up for them.
No, you're not.
I'm wearing clothes. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
Glasses are stupid.
You're stupid.
I don't know. Interstellar.
You don't have to know. You're stupid.
Specifically, Christopher Nolan's Interstellar, because... No, it's just... I say it like that because if you watched any trailer for this movie, you knew nothing about it except for the fact that this is a Christopher Nolan film. They beat you over the head with that little info, and for good reason, because I think this would have been a hard sell of a movie with a more unknown developer, director. Like, having Christopher Nolan attached, at least for me, is the sole reason I went to see this movie.
Well, I mean...
don't get me wrong, I love sci-fi and a good space opera, but this is a different kind of space movie.
The marketing was very much in the sense, like, Christopher Nolan is going to take you on a journey that's going to change everything about your life.
Yeah. They hit hard with that note.
And I think it's fair to say that we were underwhelmed.
Yes.
Maybe a little less so than Matt, but definitely underwhelmed.
And that's in great contrast to some of our other friends who left the theater singing its praises.
Calling it the most powerful piece of cinema they had seen.
At least in recent memory. And I can't... I mean, I walked out of the theater... Let's say this right now. Movie is a visual marvel.
It is gorgeous.
The visuals... The way it is shot, the movie itself on a technical level is phenomenal. It's
a masterpiece. The
soundtrack, the Zimmer. I'm actually impressed we didn't get a
little bit
Inception style, but no, I mean, and the acting was strong across the board. Shockingly, Matthew McConaughey. I thought it was a little silly that he was the world's best pilot / a great engineer / also a farmer and a great day. Like, it was just one of those things where it was a little implausible at that point, but whatever. It's not as bad as when Tara Reid got cast as a scientist. I can suspend my disbelief on that. He was great in the film.
He was great. Anne Hathaway was great. All the cast is
especially
wonderful.
The Murph, the multiple ladies that played Murph through the various stages of her life. Were very strong and good, and that was important because she was a much bigger character than we anticipated.
She was the linchpin.
Now, here's the thing about doing a review of this movie, is that inevitably it's a movie that really fosters a desire to want to talk about it and discuss it, and in that regard, spoilers are just a necessity. And we're going to do our best to be general about it, but watching this review, unfortunately, will, tip some stuff off. Because, again, the trailers told you nothing, so it's not like we can only keep our discussion to trailer-specific things.
Yes.
So let's just get this out of the way. This movie involves time-space continuums. It involves
quantum mechanics.
It involves relativity. All right.
The Relativity is super well done.
Relativity is amazing because it's usually not done in space movies. They just gloss over it. But the fact that there's a great scene where they go down to the water planet that you know from the trailer for less than an hour. And then they come up and 23 years have passed.
To the ship outside
to the ship outside the gravitational. It's amazing. That part was really well done.
Yeah, it's one of those things like it's the big draw. I mean, like their initial mission has to take them out to Saturn. It's going to take them 2 years to get to Saturn, and then through the wormhole, and then from there, there's a gigantic black hole named Gargantua, and that's
the key.
It warps space time and its path.
So let's break down the basicness of it. The movie starts because Earth has been hit by a blight that has ravaged our food supplies, and it has made it's basically the world's big dust bowl being covered in dust storms.
Yes.
But then out of nowhere, a wormhole has appeared up by Saturn, and so NASA and Secret has been sending probes through the wormhole looking for another habitable planet.
The plan A is to find a habitable world and get as many people off Earth as possible, and plan B is
a population bomb,
where they're going to send fertilized eggs and grow humans.
Yes, start a colony with genetically diverse humans, save the human race. Fast forward, when we get into the meat and potatoes of the movie, because here's the thing, the movie is a long movie.
It's over 2 hours.
It's over 3.
Over 3?
Yeah. Not like, I'm saying like minutes over 3 hours, but
right.
It's still over 3 hours. Where was I going with that? Oh, it's a long movie. And like the first 2 hours of it are dedicated to world building and just the plot doesn't really go anywhere. It's slowly building. It's not until they land on the ice planet that the movie really kicks into gear for me.
It's interesting in that the first half of the movie is world building, but not the world building you would expect. I mean, it's enough to establish Cooper, his relationship to his children, his relationship with his place in the universe and everything. But really, there's a blight and shit's bad. But
there's no world building in really the sense of what brought us to that point.
What the world is like. I mean, they mentioned that there's a universal army, but
that farmers are the only thing in demand.
People don't act like they do when there's a giant famine. Usually it would be hoarding and defending themselves and protecting their family.
I thought that would have been fascinating, is learning how they kept societal order. During this,
it's almost like nothing bad has happened at all. Like they're attending baseball games. They're
farming.
They're farming.
Yeah.
Kids are going to school.
Right. I don't know. It's one of the things where that's one of the things I would have liked.
I do. It's enough world building and then not enough world building.
Let's talk about another thing that I really enjoyed in this movie.
Okay.
The Marines.
Yeah.
Specifically, Tars and what was the other guy? Yeah, Case. They were personable, hilarious, and robots, if you're not aware. The Marines are actually robots, and they were a breath of fresh air and a delight during the more somber scenes in space.
They're fascinating because they don't look like any robots we've seen. They're giant obelisks that fully move.
It looks like if Minecraft decided to get put into a major AAA blockbuster movie.
And they don't look functional until
they need to be functional.
Until there's that one scene on the ice planet where they have to save Anne Hathaway.
You mean the water planet?
Water planet, yeah, where they have to save Anne Hathaway, and it books, and it looks awesome.
All right, now there is one major part of this movie that I refuse to spoil because it was a huge surprise to me, and that's an actor that you did not know was in the movie. Not going to spoil that part, but suffice to say, that is the moment when we meet this new character that everything changed for me. And I started getting more into the film, because before that I just was like, where is this movie going? It didn't seem to have a direction or a point.
What I liked about this actor is that he played his character like one of those old 1950s scientist action movies where he's traveling to strange worlds. It's very much in the Captain Kirk mold, but he's also completely deranged and a gigantic coward.
Yeah.
So
a great combination of traits.
Yeah.
Now, again, we should also point out that this has been sponsored by the wonderful Grand Theater and Esplanade. Thank you again.
GPX sound for the win.
Oh man, that Dolby Atmos. Because here's the thing: when you go see a Christopher Nolan movie, the soundtrack is going to be a big part in having that IMAX GPX surround sound.
You know what the best part of the mixing was? It wasn't as bad as Man of Steel, where it was oppressingly loud, but it was. There was 2 scenes where that's too loud, and the rest of it was just perfect.
Yeah. All right, so let's get into where the craziness starts. Is when we realize how this all folds in on itself, and using gravity to communicate back in time, and
because gravity can travel through.
Gravity is the only force that can travel space and time. So we find out that there's these fifth-dimensional beings, which should have been the first tip-off that things are about to get crazy when we're talking about fifth-dimensional. And, of course, my first thought is Mixelplick.
Mixelplick.
Yeah, whatever. Mixelplick. That guy.
Yeah, say his name right.
No, I don't. You have to say it backwards.
Kill Tipsy's him.
Oh, man. That's so weird that you know that offhand. Anyway, so fifth-dimensional beings are helping humanity survive, and no one knows why.
Maybe. It's worth noting that NASA has been completely defunded officially, so no one's like, well, why are you wasting money on NASA?
Yeah.
And there's a great scene of like the board's like, we're NASA. It's like NASA got shut down. It's like, yeah,
surprise.
And that's like, we think fifth dimensional beings opened a wormhole out here so we can
save ourselves. Yeah.
Although it would beg the question, why not move it closer?
Why Saturn?
Why a 2-year journey to Saturn?
Who knows?
Don't tug that thread.
Yeah. It's... And then the movie really devolves into a what came first, the chicken or the egg thing, because it's all the pitfalls of doing a time travel story at times.
Yeah, because
events in the future affected the events in the past of the movie,
in a very 2001: A Space Odyssey inspired scene. Cooper enters the fifth dimension.
Yes, that was a very intriguing
and sees the possibilities of time stretched out before him, and is able to manipulate events in the past, which didn't seem to be events in the past.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It especially, and then the ending I thought was it gave me a very Dark Knight Rises epilogue feel to it, and maybe that's just because Anne Hathaway was in both parts, but.
They're on a cafe in France, and you'll have some wine.
And he'll look up, and All right, so let me point out one thing that I really just made me roll my eyes.
The power of love.
The power of love. Out of nowhere, we are told that just like gravity, one of the most powerful forces in reality is love. And I'm sorry, you can try and make that a serious and real thing all you want, but when your character out of nowhere says, I want to choose this planet. Why? The power of love. I'm like, come on.
I thought that was really sweet. I actually liked it a lot.
It made me roll my eyes because
I can understand
it was poorly telegraphed, and so it felt shoehorned in.
Well, I think at the end of the day, what this movie's going to come down to is it's going to be a visually impressive feat, but its story is not going to stand the test of time, I think.
Here's the thing you have to realize, and this is, if you take one thing from our review, it's this, is that don't go in expecting your typical action space movie. This is not what this is. This is a character-driven drama that happens to take place in space with some really high concept science theories and ideas thrown in.
It's got some good hard science fiction in there, which is something that I don't like a lot of, but I do like it when it's presented enough.
It's like FBP, the movie.
Yeah.
A lot of physics bending, a lot of jargon dropped in big doses near the end, but if you're paying attention reasonably well, you'll be able to at least wrap your mind around a good chunk of it and derive, like get to the point.
That's my favorite thing. That's one of the things I really enjoyed about it, is because the ending is weird. The whole fifth dimensional time manipulation is very strange, but it's explained in a way that's like, okay, I'm with you. It's not like
how did we get here? What's
going
on? Now, my only gripe about the ending is I thought it felt too convenient.
I'm not
like poof. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what I mean, like that. I'm trying to get to this without spoiling it, but I felt like it betrayed the stakes that had been risen. If that makes any sense to you. I mean,
the ending is weird in that everything works out okay.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I don't get me wrong. Part of me loves those happy endings.
Well, the only thing that's ambiguous is someone is left behind the wormhole, and Cooper's returned to our galaxy, and then has to go back through the wormhole, and hopefully unite humanity on both sides of the wormhole.
Exactly. So, I don't know. Okay, let's... The pros are the amazing visuals and the way the movie shot, just everything about the visual aspects, the amazing soundtrack. The acting is incredible and strong from all parties. Also, Michael Caine's character is an asshole.
Everyone's an asshole.
No, mostly Michael Caine's an asshole.
Mostly Michael Caine, but it trickles down to everyone else.
Except Murph. Enough can't be said about how good Murph is.
Murph just destroyed a whole crop's worth of corn to prove a point.
Yeah.
And then our brother's like, oh, all right.
Shrug. So, and the marine characters are amazing. The surprise actor on the ice planet was a great addition. And the ending filled you with a measure of hope after the bleakness of what led up to it.
Yeah.
That said, I don't feel it. This movie lived up to its, I don't want to say potential, but it's unfortunately, some things just fall prey to hype, and it's not a fault of the movie.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it does color perception of it, and I don't know. It's Christopher Nolan movies are they're just a mentally exhausting journey, like emotionally and mentally exhausting. You have to really invest in the time. And this movie begs to be watched again, and I just don't know if I have it in me to do that.
Yeah, I think the one thing you'll take away, I mean, if you've looked on Metacritic, is this movie is very divisive.
It's very,
I mean,
more so than any Christopher Nolan movie, I believe.
Well, I think Dark Knight Rises is pretty divisive too, but I mean, it's very divisive. Like right now, it's at 73% on Rotten Tomatoes
versus the 91% of our last movie that we raved about, Big Hero 6.
So I think at the end of the day, you have to take this with a grain of salt and have to experience it for yourself. It was compared to me as being better than Inception, but not being as good as Dark Knight. I think I would rate it lower than Inception, honestly, because I think I enjoyed Inception more.
I definitely enjoyed Inception more.
Even though Inception has a lot of BS in it.
But maybe that's just because Inception fills the more standard action movie like template. And maybe that's just me as a moviegoer that I enjoy that more than these drier character pieces. And that's not, if you're about Interstellar, great. We're not saying it's a bad movie. My personal take is it didn't have enough to keep me interested for that first 2 hours. And that's a long chunk of time to not be gripping me.
If you take anything away from us, we're just guys, We're not film students. We're not movie makers.
Yeah, we don't know the technical side. We don't know what goes into doing this.
I don't know.
Did we walk out of that theater enjoying ourselves? And to another extent, did we enjoy it enough to look forward to purchasing it? That, I believe, is the biggest thing. Like, if I come out of a movie and I can't wait to own it, that's a high praise for a film.
Yeah.
So let's review, rate it, and peace out.
You go first.
7.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, eventually I will watch it again, and I'd like to see if that changes my opinion. But I mean, we waited on this review. We saw it opening night, but we waited because this is a movie you want to mull over and think about.
I had to talk about it with other people to kind of
back and forth,
straighten everything out.
So I give it a 7, and definitely not one of Nolan's best, but not a bad movie.
Right, in your opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I liked it a little bit more than you. I think I'm going to give it like a 7.5.
Okay.
Like, honestly, like a 7.75 if we were doing that, but we're not, so 7.5. Are
you going to buy it?
I don't know.
Me either.
I don't.
I think normally I'm not the guy that says I'll wait for it to be on sale, but I think I'd have to either A, they release it with a steelbook and then I'm a whore and I buy it right away, or B, I wait for it on sale.
It's a triple question mark.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But
we'll see.
That's it. Let's peace out. I'm Matt.
I'm Chris.
This has been our review of Interstellar. Let us know what you think about the film in the comments. Like and subscribe and all that stuff we're supposed to say at the end of our videos, but always forget to. Down there.
You know what I really liked about Interstellar, and it was very disconcerting in the beginning, is all the space scenes are silent, including the explosions.
As well, it should be.
It is. And
that's what I love.
The only other movie I remember that did that is Serenity and Firefly. And it's so jarring, especially when you've been surrounded and enveloped in sound.
Like Star Trek?
Star Trek is so loud in theaters. But I mean like you're enveloped in the soundtrack and Earth and everything, and then you go to space and it's just...
Yeah. Oh, it's great. That's the way it should be. But anyway, please... If you have any comments about our wonderful fashion, please let that go there too.
Matt wears jockeys. I wear Hanes.
If you want to leave a comment about how Chris is a poop, please do that as well. You really comment on anything. I will respond because I've got nothing but time. So, peace out. I'm Matt.
I'm Chris.
And we've already said that multiple times. Just in case you didn't know, NOLAnerdcast, movie reviews, boom.
Deuces.